Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to TV5 and Mana TV. You are watching Insight with Praveen Puram. Today, our esteemed guest is Mr. Srinivas Kaveti. He is an international attorney, so we will discuss more about the immigration challenges. Hello, sir. How are you? Thank you so
Good
much.
and very good, very good. Thanks for having me, Praveen,
Yeah.
on your show.
So, as we have these episodes, today we will talk more about the immigration challenges today, what our Indo-American community and NRI community is encountering. We will also ask more about what are the new laws, especially you all will be very much interested in the visas and the H1B laws. And before getting into the crux of the meeting, I would love to introduce about Srinivas Kaveti garu. So Kaveti Law Firm is owned by Mr. Srinivas Kaveti. He has a Bachelor of Arts degree from English Literature, Psychology, Eastern Western Philosophy from Osmania University. He pursued his Latin Legume from Symbiosis Law College, Pune. He bagged gold medal in law studies. He completed MBA and earned a master's degree in communication and journalism. He also completed a qualified lawyer's practice course and was admitted to the High Court of England and Wales as a solicitor. Further to his UK education, he has completed a course equivalent to Juris Doctor in Brooklyn Law School, New York, USA. He's a notary public of the state of New York, and he's also, after a successful journey of education, he also has become a successful lawyer and assisted several clients across the globe. What a wonderful journey, sir. Srinivas garu.
Thank you. Thank you, Praveen.
It's very amazing to see about your law journey, and especially being an international attorney. What is the added advantage to any of the customers you have? And tell us more about your journey in law.
See, most of the times when we come from India, as you said, non-residents, Indians, NRIs, the NRIs means anybody who's out of India for more than 180 days, as per the Indian Income Tax Act. So anybody who lives overseas, of course, we carry our customs and we carry our belief system, our religion, and we also carry our expertise and skill. So when you live overseas, we, as you and I, we all came to America. We're living in America, so we also accumulate some. We work and accumulate, wealth, either buying a house or having children. But we also have some ties with back home in India. See? So when people have problems in terms of law, when people get married back home and they come to America, because in India we have Hindu law, we have Christian law, we have Muslim law, and in terms of property, there are different rules for Christians, Muslims, and Parsis. Now, present government is trying to uniform the laws, just like in America, not distinguish between Jews or Catholics or Protestants. They're on the way of doing that. But as on today, we still have different customary laws. Most of the times when we come, the first challenge we have is we want to get educated in the Western countries, whichever the country we go. And after education, the first thing we look at is getting a work permit. And, some countries, they call it a work permit. Some countries, they call it a H1B. In England, it's a post-work permit or, tier 1 or tier 2 visa. Every country has its own immigration law. So, it's a different word, nomenclature, but we all want to get a work permit first because we invest money and we want to do some work and get some skills so that we, recover whatever we pay to the school. So immigration law becomes a paramount for anybody. And once we get a work permit and we're working and people intend to marry, they want to marry here or they want to marry back home. So if they want to marry back home, again, customary laws, Hindu law, if you're a Hindu. If you're a Muslim, Muslim law applies. If you're a Christian, Christian law applies. If there is an interracial marriage between Christians and Muslims or Christians or Hindus, the Special Marriage Act applies. So that complexity is not there in America, you see. When you meet somebody here, you marry here, it's a local law. So because, by getting educated in different continents, I'm familiar with all these rules and regulations of 4 continents, of England, of Australia, of America, and India. India, we have almost all same law all over the country. Let's say if it's a criminal law or family law, it's the same all over India. But in US, again, 50 states have 50 different laws. If you see UK, it's the same thing, just like in India. And Australia is also, again, they have provinces. They have different laws again. So by familiarizing and by getting to know the law of these land, and different countries. When we all come out of the country, we all always have properties back home and here. What happens if they've got married, one couple, and they're coming and living in America? They want to get divorced. Which law applies? Is it an American law applies, or is it an Indian law applies because they got married in India? Does the Hindu law marriage applies? They have children, some children in India, some children in America. What law applies for their children? Custody. Somebody wants to adopt, what law applies, whether the Indian law applies or American law. So in that complex situation, and these days, if you see most of the IT companies, they're having operations back in India. So they have a private limited company over there under the Companies Act, and they have a C corporation or S corporation or LLC in America. So there are intercompany transfers from India to America, and American CEOs are going and settling in India, running the businesses in India. How the taxation works, and the money is being paid from here to India. The employees are there. When they make money here, how the money will be repatriated, how they pay taxes, whether they have to pay tax in America, the CEOs, whether they have to pay tax in India. That's again double taxation treaty. This all comes in private international law. So public international law is anything to do with United Nations and country to country, where we don't deal with that. Only during the time of war or some crisis between two countries, we deal public international law. Private international law is, we're always dealing with that. So things like this, for example, if the husband and wife come to America, husband has troubled wife and she's a battered spouse, she goes back to India, files a complaint in Indian police, 498A, domestic violence, dowry harassment, how they have to be treated. And let's say the husband is here, and there's an arrest warrant in India, or there's an FIR, or wife has filed a maintenance in India. So these are all complex private international law issues. If somebody is familiar with the laws of both the countries, it is easy. So by the grace of Lord, because of my education in Australia, England, America, and India, it is, I understand what law applies because I've been practicing for more than 35 years. And, and the other thing is, I also completed, I have 3 honorary doctorates and 1 PhD in artificial intelligence and law. So how the world is heading towards adopting artificial intelligence. Recently, the Supreme Court of India also started this. Many of the Indian courts are adopting artificial intelligence. They're computerizing. The first artificial intelligence lawyer is a Ross. She is manufactured in America. So how this is going to impact? I also do a lot of teaching in India in law schools. So I share my wisdom whenever I go back, and I teach at least in 20 universities as emeritus professor. So what is happening with my multinational law degrees disciplines, I'm able to help the clients easily because it's one window. They don't have to go to an American lawyer and go to an Indian lawyer. Most of the time, so the Indian lawyers don't understand the American law. And most of the American lawyers would not understand outside their state because we have 50 states in America. Every state has its own law. So there it becomes little handy for me because of my knowledge in international law, international trade law, and international private international law, with law degrees from so many countries and with a PhD. And I also write articles in a lot of journals of such issues. I'm an editor of Nyaya Patrika, and I'm also an editor in International Journal of Science and Law. So I also do a lot of writing of articles. And especially when I go back, people come to me, I address a lot of issues. Local lawyers also from India, they contact me. And many US lawyers, when they're representing the clients for divorces and property distribution, especially with husband and wife, they want to know what the Indian law is, whether the American courts can exercise jurisdiction on properties in India, whether the Indian courts can exercise jurisdiction on the spouse in America or children in America. These are all very, very complex issues, and these cannot be handled by some Desi attorney or something who's practicing immigration law. So they're my expertise, and I'm able to help hundreds of clients back in India, hundreds of clients in America, hundreds of clients, and we also have clients in UK as well. Because of my UK education, we get a lot of calls from UK as well. People who are having problems with their visa. This is called tier one and tier two visa. People with extraordinary ability, how they can get stay there, and people, those who want to set up a business in UK, and those who are going through a divorce, and those who are having problems with immigration. Because we have a partnership firm in East London and Newham, so I also visit UK. So we handle UK work as well. And lately, because my Delhi office, I brought one Australian lawyer from Australia, and he's heading my Delhi operations. So we also do immigration and law pertaining to Australia too, because I went to law school in Australia. So what
Excellent.
is happening is, for a lot of days, and because I also speak Hindi, very conversant in Hindi because of our office and our presence in Delhi, Supreme Court also, we are able to handle High Court cases of Andhra, Telangana, and Supreme Court cases, and anything to do with cross-country jurisdictional issues. So we are having ready-made answers here because of legal education, because of practice of law, because of our offices in India. And we are opening more offices now to get into Tirupati, Vijayawada, and Khammam and Warangal. And as it is, we have offices in Karimnagar, Hyderabad, Vijayawada, and Delhi. So we're opening more offices. So we are going to people, and yearly 3 to 4 times I travel. And I also lecture in a lot of law schools, engineering schools. We help students, how to get a student visa. What are the do's and don'ts before they come to America? Even after coming to America, what are the rights they have? Like they should not drink and drive, and they should not get in trouble with women or smoking, and a lot of things. So we do a lot of seminars from my firm, and that's becoming handy for the kids who are coming to America and going to other parts of the world. And it's also helping a lot of families, like their parents. So, we do a lot of things, and with my 35 years of experience, and we cater a lot of clients from all over the world. So that's been my background, Mr. Praveen.
Absolutely. I think, Dr. Srinivas, you have covered extreme on the word international law, right? It's very, very, I think, ocean of knowledge you definitely have from the immigration issues from multiple countries. And I think from the audience also, they understand what you bring onto the table.